Okay, here's another one that potentially could or should be dying off. And he was sort of the gatekeeper of the last format, as it were, the little cheeky Pikachu Zekrom. Now, a sort of generous consensus I've been sort of reading and seeing is that it's just not red at the end of the day. It's not quite doing the same amount of damage. You have to sort of jump through a bit more hoops. But as Jack said earlier, you're doing that sexy little 170 snipe from time to time, and you pick up stuff like is it electromagnetic radar, I think, and Dedenne as well. With it, that jet attack, you can actually use that in Pika Rom. So which I've seen in a lot of streams and videos. So my question to you, Jack, is this Pika Rom still around, or is it time to tag it out?
No, I think it's. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's still. This weekend will still be tier 1, just because again the first weekend of a new regionals is very similar to the meta the weeks before, because people are still refining and stuff. The deck is still inherently really strong. It doesn't lose anything, like you say. It gains the Den. It gains electromagnetic radar. I think the lists that will do well will be the lists that don't go full to Den. I think playing 2 radar, 2 ultra ball is how I would play it. So you still have access to your Jirachis, to your Let Loose, to all of the good stuff. But also, you do have access to the Den and Pika Rom off of 1 ball search. That's nutty. The deck is so aggressive it can compete with Reshizard. The deck is able to go non-EX, so it compete with the non-EX stuff. I think it is still a very versatile deck. I really don't think it's going anywhere. At least in the first few weeks. Maybe it'll turn out that it's not red, so it's not good enough. But I think for now, the cards it gains help it get a turn 1 full blitz so much more, which threatens a turn 2 tag bolt so much more. And a turn 2 tag bolt can take 5 prizes, can take 4 prizes, can take enough prizes to win you the game. So yeah, I think it's good.
It's like always people are saying that it's just not as good because it's Zard. Like, yo, have you ever been punched in the face turn 1 for 150? Like, tell me that's not good. Like,
It's exactly, and you can punch into outrage without really being too worried you're going to get outraged back. You do 150, so they do 180. They need choice band to do 210. They need to find a way of doing extra damage, which they don't have. They can't really play Kukui. I guess they could, but lists aren't playing Kukui. So if you're punching them in the face for 150 and full blitzing onto the active, they basically need to flare strike you. If they're flare striking you, okay, you're in a bit of a spot. But if you're punching them in the face and full blitzing them and attaching to a benched Pika Rom, if they full blitz the active, you have, like I say, things like the Den now to dig through your deck to try and find the turn 2 full blitz with 5 energy, using energy switches and that kind of thing now. You have more discard draw. You have a lot more turbo now. So I think it's actually not that bad. And if you, like I say, if you've punched this Reshizard for 150 already, you can always take a prize, or you can always take 3 prizes on it. Meaning you can like Guzma the other one. Snipe the benched one, take 3 prizes, and put 200 on the active one. So they then have to heal the active one as well, and they have to like weld it to it if they want to attack with it and stuff. They can't promote like Miltank and Welder and then switch. They have to like find double switch. So it has answers to the fire stuff. It's not as good as the fire stuff. It's definitely not, but it has answers to the fire stuff, and I think that's enough to make it good enough. It doesn't lose any really bad matchups. The Pika Roms the Zoros aren't playing fighting stuff anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
A lot of them aren't. There's a really cool Zoro list that Joe and I built last night that I think Joe is profiling at some point this weekend, but that does play fighting stuff that's cool. Machamp Marshadow is basically Lycanroc now. So there are still fighting decks. There it is. It's the answer to the fighting weak stuff in Zoro. But in general, there's less Lycanroc around. There's probably going to be less Zapdos around, even though I still think it's good. There's more tier 1 decks now, I think. So theoretically, all of them should be more saturated. So you should not gain good matchups, but lose some of the bad matchups.
Yeah.
You should see less of the bad matchups. So yeah, I genuinely don't see a problem with Pika Rom. It was the king of the last format for a reason.
Yeah.
I still think it's there.
How do you feel about that, Demetri? Anything to add there on old Pika Rom?
I think Mew, new card that comes out, which a lot of decks are playing, which does weaken the Jet stack of Pika Rom.
Definitely.
Blacephalons like putting in their Mews because I'm talking about the Blacephalon Jets, because a big problem with that matchup before is Pika Rom could do Tag Bolt and skip your B string turn. They'll go from 6 prizes to 2 prizes, and then you won't have access to your B string, and then you'll really struggle to get 5 energy on and take a knockout. But Mew definitely improves that matchup now, and I think a lot of decks will be playing Mew.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's what like the Reshizads have to be playing. They have to be playing Mew, and like you say, the Blounds used to have a really bad Pika Rom matchup. I think it now probably has a favourable Pika Rom matchup because they can't jump B string turn anymore, which is huge. So that's the stuff you have to be worried about as a Pika Rom now. You're not worried about the fighting stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot less of it. But now you have to be worried about people playing around Tag Bot a little bit more. So yeah, they're the kind of things you have to be aware of.
Yeah, but coming from a person that hates Zoroark, like, if someone told me that you lose all the fighting stuff out of Zoroark, but you have to gain dodgy Blounds, I'm taking the better Zoroark every day, because I think you'd see more Zoroark than you would Thingamabob. And then when they play Zoroark and they nest ball out a Seal, you're like, hey! Like, that's not a what's it called?
I think,
have some of that. There we go.
I think one of the only Zoro decks that can survive that has fighting stuff is, like I say, a Zoro deck that Joe built last night.
Oh, so
it's basically Zoro Slowking with Machamp Marshadow and fighting energy counter gains.
Yep.
So you can revenge for 1 energy. I think that's one of the only Zoro decks that but that should have like an insanely good Pika Rom. Just because you don't even you can put a Marshadow on your bench as a Zoro player and be like, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like they can't. What are they gonna do?
He's
to
such
this?
a boy. He's just gonna sit there.
They can't punch into it. It has like 260 HP, right?
270. I'm looking at it right now.
270. So the Pika Rom can't even knock it out in preparation.
Yeah.
So what do they do? So yeah, Zoro still have an answer, but it's just I don't think many people will be playing Machamp Marshadow. I think people will just be focusing on beating the Water Week stuff.
Yeah. So there we go. That was nice, comprehensive. I've sent out a lot today. I love it. It's getting all the knowledge. But then onto the